Good evening, everyone. I am Anurag Vishwakarma. I'm a PhD scholar as well as a senior research fellow in Department of Forestry, Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology, Arunachal Pradesh. I'm basically working on bird population ecology from last 6 years, and I have worked in different habitat and different parts of the country. So, on the basis of my experience today, I'm going to talk about the dependency of a bird on particular habitat. Before going to directly on topic, I would like to brief about birds. So, if you see birds, they have very small to largest in size. The smallest bird of the world in the world is bee hummingbird, and the largest bird is ostrich. In India, the smallest bird found is thick-billed flowerpecker, and the largest bird is great Indian bustard. So if we'll start from upper side, so they have crest. So crest is not found in every species. Now they have head. It, this is their eyebrow, as we have. This is their eyes. This is their beak. In some species, it is modified as bill. This part is called belly. This part is called vent. This part is called leg. This is their feather. This is their wings, and this is their tail. Now, what is bird? What are the number of species existing and where they live and what they eat? Everything we will discuss in our next slide. So more than 10,400 living species, unique is having feathers, the major characteristics that distinguish them from all other animals. And according to recently published paper by Praveen et al. 2019, the total number of bird species found in India is 1,317. So scientifically, birds are warm-blooded vertebrates constituting class Aves. So what is warm-blooded? Warm-blooded means the organism which can survive extreme hot to extreme cold temperature, and vertebrates means the organism who is having bone or skeleton. Then morphologically birds have feathers for flying, toothless beak for eating, or the laying of hard-shelled eggs, a four-chambered heart, and a strong yet lightweight skeleton. Characteristically, it can fly thousands of miles. It can swim deep in the water like penguins. It can run like ostrich. It can mimic as well like parrots. And the most attractive and beautiful in your imagination. I'll just give you a task. Just imagine a blank bird and color it as much as you can. Just color it. Just uh, think about in your imagination and just Google it. So you will get at least a single bird which may be almost similar like your imagination. Just do it at least once. Now, what is habitat? Habitat is the home of any organism where they live and make them safe from predator and bad weather. And also they do nesting, they do foraging, they do feeding there. Habitat comprises four basic features: food, water, shelter, and space. Now, food is necessary for each and every organism for their energy, for their growth, and for other body functioning. And birds are usually frugivores, insectivores, nectarivores, birds of prey, and scavengers category in feeding categories. So, what is frugivores? Frugivores means the birds who eat fruits only. Insectivores means the birds who eat small insects, caterpillar, butterflies, dragonflies, etc. etc. Nectarivores means the birds who suck pollens or nectar of the flower. The bird of prey. Bird of prey means the large bird who hunt the small bird, rat, fishes, small snakes, and other small animals for their food. Scavengers. Scavengers are those birds which eat the dead animals' fleshes. Then, second important feature is water. So, water is necessary for each and every organism. Without water, nobody can imagine their life. It is necessary for each and everyone. So, birds get water from pond, lakes, river, and small water holes. Now, the third important feature is shelter. Shelter is the home or nest of any organism where they do save themselves from predators and bad weather. Now the four important features is space. Space means where the birds get proper food, proper water, and proper safety. Now types of habitat. Like I said earlier, birds can be found anywhere, even around your cities, your backyard, your home, your school, your college, your garden, everywhere. But different species of birds are adopted of different homes or habitat. Habitat is the home range of bird species. And now let me see what kind of habitat the bird prefer. So the first habitat is forest habitat. Forests are very productive ecosystem where birds can get easy food and water. The productivity and their many layers as ground, understory, mid-story and canopy make them a great habitat for many bird species across the earth. Because not every bird depends on the canopy, not every bird depends on the undergrowth. So there are different kinds of food what they prefer, and they uh, live according to their food preferences from ground level to canopy cover. Forest birds are particular about the makeup of their nest. Some prefer hardwood, some prefer softwood, and some prefer branches of trees. They use forest habitat for nesting and feeding. On my screen, you can see some of the forest habitat and some forest bird species found inside the forest. You could set out to a nearby forest or visit a wildlife sanctuary during your vacations to watch birds. Because in the forest, you will get plenty of birds, different small to larger in size, colorful, colorless, and each kind of birds. So here some of the birds I have mentioned. This is orange-headed thrush, which is a common bird of forest, and this is Nilgiri wood pigeon. It's endemic species of Western Ghat. It is found only there only. This is Asian barred owlet, the small owlet species. This is silver-eared mimessia. It's a beautiful bird found in northeastern India. Now the next habitat is shrubland. Shrubland are often called thickets or area of brush. They are technically early successional habitat. Most of these habitats require disturbance and may include old fields, rough pasture and young forest. Habitat shape and size is also important for good habitat selection. They prefer 2.5 to 20 acres habitat, and most of the birds don't prefer edges. If you belong to a dry area, you could also go to the grassland to watch birds. You will be surprised to know how many species you can see in a grassland, and these will be completely different than what you saw in the forest. So here I have mentioned some of the species. The first is Great Indian Bustard. It is a critically endangered bird found in Desert National Park. It's a totally grassland species. The second one is Malabar lark. It's an endemic species of Western Ghat. It is also a grassland shrubland species. The third one is Pallid Harrier. Pallid Harrier is also a shrubland species. This is Paddyfield pipid, also found in grassland or shrubland. It is also very common species. Now the next habitat is very fascinating. It's a mountain. So birds also occur in hills and mountains. We usually don't go mountains for birding. We generally think that the mountains are for trekking, and when we reach mountains, our full focus on to watch landscape. And most of the time we get tired. But if you are a keen birder and suddenly you will get any of the mentioned species, uh, you will gain your energy back. And another reason is the mountain birds are very shy, especially pheasants, which is you can't get easily in the mountains. And mountains, in fact, have some of the species that are not found anywhere else. So here you can see some of the beautiful birds. It's a Himalayan monal. Himalayan monal is found above 2000 meter above sea level in the Himalayas. It's a uh, state bird of Uttarakhand as well. This is Kali's pheasant. Kali's pheasant is also found from lower Himalaya to upper Himalaya. This is blood pheasant. It's very rare species. Blood pheasants. You cannot see it easily. It is also found in higher Himalayas, and this is Himalayan griffon. It's a kind of vulture, not kind of. It's a vulture actually. Now the next habitat is wetland. So wetlands are one of my favorite habitats. This is a place from where you can start your bird watching because it is easy to watch birds in open spaces. Wetlands are important bird habitat and birds use them for breeding, nesting and rearing their young. Birds also use wetlands as a source of drinking water and for feeding, resting, shelter and social interaction. Birds that need functional access to a wetland or a wetland product during their life cycle, especially during the breeding seasons, can be called wetland dependent species. Other birds use wetlands only for some of their needs, or they might use both wetlands and upland habitats. A local wetlands is often the best place to start your birding adventure during winter when migratory birds visit our country. And you will be able to see plenty of ducks. Do not forget to carry good pair of binoculars as birds are likely to be far away. So here you can see two kinds of habitats. So this is wetland and this is upland, which is just edge on the wetland. So in the wetland, here some of the species they do breed or they do feeding. So those are called upland species, which are water dependent species or wetland dependent species, and these are totally wetland species. So this is red-crested pochard. It's a migratory duck coming from higher altitude to lower altitude. This is Asian pied kingfisher. It's a resident common species in and found in and around wetland or water bodies. This is black-beaked forktail. It's a riparian species, mostly found inside the river streams. This is bar-headed goose. So this is also a migratory duck. Now the next habitat is she and she soars. These include birds that live on beaches, marshes, and many other coastal habitats. Many birds that live in these areas are waders or swimming birds, having the ability to dive or sift for food with especially adopted beaks. If you happen to visit the coast on any of your vacations, do look for birds during a ferry ride or during a walk at the beaches. Birding along a beach can be the most delightful pastime if you are a keen birder. You shall definitely like. Now the next habitat is your native place. It's called the home garden. The home garden is also an important habitat of many small birds where they do nesting, they do foraging, they do feeding. Now it is up to you. How do you treat them? Whether you would provide them space or let them go. But if you really want to keep those birds at your place, you can keep artificial nest, bird feeders, and water in and around your home and may provide a better home for them. And you can save them from bad weathers and predators. You can plant fruiting and flowering trees at your place to provide them natural habitat and food as well. From this technique, you can get two benefits. First, the transfer of nectar from one plant to another, and they will save your tree and plants from the insect and caterpillars. Now, let me see. Specific habitat. So bird habitat is dependent on their preferred food and climate. So I have divided the habitat features in three categories. First is endemism, second is resident, and third is migratory. So first we'll see the what is endemism. So endemism is an ecological state of species being unique to a defined geographical location such as island, nation, country, or other defined zone. An endemic species is remained restricted to a particular place. India is now having 79 endemic bird species. For example, Malabar grey hornbill and Nilgiri wood pigeon are endemic to Western Ghat only. They are not moving any other region in India. Now, next example is Andaman and Nicobar wood pigeon and Nicobar bulbul. So these birds are endemic to Andaman and Nicobar Island only. Now, second one is resident species. Now, what is resident species? So, resident species are those which are restricted to continent boundary and move different landscape in India for their basic needs. Now, the last is migratory species. Migratory species are those which are migrating from one place to another or one continent to another for their basic needs. They are of two kinds. First is altitudinal migratory and second is continental migratory. So altitudinal migratory means the birds who are migrating from mm, higher altitude to lower altitude in the same continent. Like most of the birds like red-crested pochard, northern pintail, so they are migrating from higher Himalaya to lower Himalaya till central India and south India. So they are going till there. Uh, during the winter season. Now the next is continental migratory. Continental migratory means the birds who are migrating from one continent to another continent. Like most of the birds are coming in our country from different continents, like Amur falcon, Siberian crane, Siberian ruby throat, rosy starling. So they all are they are continental migratory birds who are coming from different continents, from like Africa, Europe, Siberia, Russia, etc. So whenever we talk about the migratory species, we should know about the international flyway of the species, from where to where they are going to be migrate. So there is one species which is called Arctic tern. So Arctic tern is migrating whole year from Arctic to Antarctic. So birds migrate in similar habitats. Wherever they migrate, they don't change feeding habitat at least. So wetland birds will migrate to wetland, forest bird migrate to forest, shrubland or grassland bird migrate to shrubland or grassland, and shore birds will definitely migrate to coastal areas and shores or lagoons only. Now, threats of habitat. Any kind of threats to any habitat start from our need, and we are responsible for it. No industry and factory and wooden craft shop would cut the forest until and unless we won't demand. We need development. All wood industries are for us because we demand. We need high class wooden furnitures to show off. We need excellent wood crafts for home decoration. We need wild food and harvest it in unsustainable ways. Like we harvest mushroom, we harvest mahua in central India, we harvest tendu in central India as well. So from these mahua and tendu collection, I think if people you know or you don't know, I don't know. So for mahua and tendu collection, people used to burn land just beneath the trees, and sometimes this small burning may turn into heavy forest fire. And there are so many resources extracted by forest which is directly or indirectly harm to forest minor or major. Now this is up to you to save habitat for your bird and your next generation and make them know you care about birds. So here are some of the common bird species which is found in India. So this is white-throated kingfisher, this is black drongo, this is cattle egret, this is common huku, this is common teal or cotton pygmy goose, this is common mena, this is oriental magpie robin, this is Indian robin, this is southern cuckoo, this is little ring plover, this is comb duck, this is green bee eater, this is greater painted snipe, this is lesser whistling duck, and this is purple heron, this is pond heron, this is bronze wing jacana, this is Indian roller, uh, and this is small minivet. This is long-tailed shrike. It's a scaly-breasted munia. It's very common species in our home garden. This is red-vented bulbul. It is the commonest bird found in entire country. This is greater egret, and this is little egret. So this was from my side. Hope you would love my presentation. Thank you.